You know the man.
President Trump.
That's him, yeah. Listen, he's got a serum for what's wrong with you. And if you could just talk to him, get with him, then everybody could be...
Yes, everybody could be what?
Everyone. Well, everybody could be normal again.
I see. You mean we could be as we were before?
Yeah, I guess so. The way we were.
The way we were. And that's what Trump thinks we want. Is that why he sent you?
He didn't send me. He...
Silence! Oh, yes. He sent you to offer us something from his world, to change us back to the creatures we were. A trick! A trick to weaken our resolve.
I was almost like you, but he saved me. He brought me back. And he wants us all to go away from here.
You have been damned. Don't you see that? Don't you? Prepare the family.
I don't have it.
Have what?
The plague.
I'm immune. I can come down and start kissing everybody. I'll kiss every guy, man and woman, man and woman. Look at that guy, how handsome he is. I'll kiss him. Not with a lot of enjoyment, but that's okay.
And Corn Pop
You are discarded.
Dude.
You are the refuse of the past.
I'm gonna wrap this chain around your head.
You're full of crap.
I got hairy legs.
How hard it is to admit the truth.
If I learned about roaches.
Take him to the little room. The light. They should have stayed clear of the light.
So don't mess with me.
I know exactly where your body is. What I'm looking for is some indication of a brain.
There we go. Just remember the where were you January 3rd at 2 a.m.
Two good openings, right?
Yes. And we have a special guest today, brother. Of
Yes.
course, I'm Brother Jim, Brother James, Brother John.
I'm Brother
then we
John. This
have
is Brother Jim too. Just
Brother
another
Jim
Brother
too.
Jim.
Okay. All right. Well, there was two apostles, right, James? Right?
Yes.
So why not? Right.
So you're Brother Jamie, and this is Brother Jim.
All right. I can live with that. All right. So here we are. We're rocking and rolling. We have a big show. We have a really big show. We're going to talk about, of course, Maduro, the narco terrorist, and we're going to then slide into Sunshine MAGA.
And that's why we have
about them.
Our special guest.
Special guest, yeah.
Because we could tap his extensive people that he talks to and ask him about it.
Then we're going to talk about battleships.
If we get the chance to.
The big Golden Fleet, right?
Golden battleships. Because we love gold.
Yeah, so first of all, let's show some video that we picked up from the front lines, as it were. Here we go. I think I got to mute myself. Hold on a second.
Aquí lo espera en Miraflores. No hace tarde en llegar, cobarde.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine.
Venga por mí.
That was. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Was there any reverberating on that? Was there any feedback?
I didn't get any.
Good. Okay, but you heard it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We didn't do any tests. We didn't do any tests beforehand. So that was a good one. That was definitely a good one, right? We like that one.
That was Donald Trump at his best.
Yes, that was a direct feed from True Social via Sister Peg, who sent that to me, and it was a better one than the one I found, brother. So then we have this video here, which I think is absolutely classic. I love this video.
Imagining all peoples fleeing or sitting in jail. Coño, los gringos are not messing around. I think it's time for plan B.
Hello?
Señor Presidente.
Maduro.
Chamo, Let's make a deal to stop this crazy war.
I'm listening.
You like to deport people.
I do.
And I need to import people.
I can hear Stephen Miller's tail wagging already.
Send me the Democrats.
The what?
Los demócratas. Deport them todos to Venezuela.
High crime and rigged elections? They're gonna love it there.
It's a paradise.
Mom Danny, I can't live without now, but I'll send you AOC.
We can use her help to rebrand for Generación Z.
Would you even take the super annoying ones like Newscomb?
Con mucho gusto. Gavin and I both have beautiful hair and each have lost millions of our people to Texas and Florida.
What about Pelosi?
Yes, her net worth alone will support the Venezuelan economy for years.
All right, and I assume you're taking Jeffries and crying Chuck Schumer?
Those are the two useless ones that do nothing, yes?
Absolutely nothing.
Deal.
You know, I can't believe you're willing to import a potentially serious political opposition.
Ay, Dios mío, you almost killed me there.
You never know, I still might.
It's just awesome. It's just awesome.
You get banned for that, but it's beautiful. It was beautiful.
That's
that was
awesome.
Absolutely beautiful. But one last video that I got that I wanted to share with you, brother, because this is kind of like going to kick us off into the conversation of why this was such a good move for America.
Watch out, Colombia.
Colombian President Gustavo Petro criticized the United States by saying, well, the Southwest is stolen land and that it should be returned to Latin America. I just wanted to know what your response is.
He's got to watch his ass because he makes cocaine and they send it into the United States of America from Colombia.
Watch it, indeed. Watch.
I think that's beautiful. I think that really kind of sends the message. Now there's talk about Cuba too. Cuba is a rogue state, and they need to be realigned, and that's what I think this is, brother. I think this entire action, police action, whatever you want to call it, it's a realignment and a necessary realignment. All the people that I've been arguing with, in public and Facebook, and it all comes back to: do you think that the world is now more safe or less safe with Maduro out? It's the same question I asked about with Iran when he took out the nukes. Is the world safer or less safer today? And you got no choice but to say it's a denuclearized Iran that makes us safer, and a country, Venezuela, that doesn't have Maduro in charge anymore is a much better situation than if you have Maduro in charge. Because we do know, I don't know if you want to comment, but I do have more to say if you want to throw in there real quick.
Well, it is a legal action. I don't know if it didn't come across because they didn't talk about it much. But the indictment is from 2020, so it's an old indictment. First of all, so part of the criticisms from these nitwits like Rand Paul Company, or no, it's Thomas Massey, the Losertarians, is that he's going after for gun charge. Yeah, fake MAGA. He's going after the gun charges. But there's the way the feds usually do things. They always have that clause in there where they can change everything. They have an indictment from 2020 that they unsealed, and in it had number one, narco terrorism, which is big because it's not just terrorism, it's drug terrorism and everything that goes along with it. Grabbing up young girls, prostituting young girls, prosecuting young children, terrorizing families for money to do that, crossing the border, all that stuff, which and the terrorism that goes along with that, with these super big now transnational gangs, which is what this was, because he's going over international waters and that. So number one charge is narco terrorism. Number two is just a regular drug trafficking charge. This is what you're going to see because he's just a drug trafficker, and what you're going to see for regular drug trafficking in federal court is drug trafficking. Number one, you're going to see money laundering. Number two, and you're going to see racketeering, right? And so the drug trafficking for cocaine trafficking is there from 2020, but I'm sure that there's many more of that. And for what you're going to see is you're going to see him change it to, of course, the Fed's favorite two: mail fraud and wire fraud. Why? Because all you need is two times, one phone call to your sweet aunt, Emmy. Did you get the money that you're using and that he's getting from his drug dealing? That's one predicate offense. Then you get, you send him a Christmas card, to Aunt Emmy. Sure enough, that's 2 because now you use the postal services, and that's what all federal racketeering charges are on, because that's the basis for your get you into federal court, and then they prove it for the RICO violations. So you're going to see that change, but they already have them what they have them for, which is the cocaine. Apparently his wife and money laundering. Apparently his wife was the money launderess or whatever you call it, and that she's right before this they had all kinds of money flooding into Florida into quote safe houses. Like that's all over the wires. That's part of the money laundering. They charged them with the cocaine dealing and the narco terrorism because it hadn't really updated it. Now the update is you hear him use this term cartel de solo. What he's the leader of the cartel de solo. Since 2020 when they were pursuing this, what's changed is that they now have their own cartel. Like there's the cartel in northern Mexico, which are U.S. military trained Mexican soldiers that are now just opened up their own shop, right? Then you have the other, MS-13, and you have this, Trent, Turago, you have all these international crime gangs. Well, one of them is the Cartel de Solo, and what they get the name from is if you look in Venezuelan military uniforms for generals and admirals, they have suns instead of stars. Like our generals have stars. So you'll see like, Patton with 4 stars, right? Eisenhower with 5 stars, in the Pentagon. Well, their generals have suns instead. And so their cartel
very Klingon
name from the cartel of the souls, right? So they're generals. So they're literally advertising to everybody that this is their cartel. So so when they say that this is primarily a law enforcement action, it is, because that's how bad this evil has metastasized this of this drug cartel. And so of course they're importing both cocaine and fentanyl now. And you'll see later on when because like one of the clauses for the federal indictment they have in there at the very bottom. Oh, this
keep talking. I'll be right back.
The one clause where we get to add any of the change to any other follow on charges that they want to. So number one, it is a legal action, but like you said, it does change the power dynamics, and the power dynamics for that area is that China just met their delegation, their trade delegation just met with Venezuela right before this. Literally, they haven't even left the country, and in that, Venezuela is one of the big oil producers for China. Not only that, it's also has all these ties, these economic ties. They've loaned a lot of money to China. Oh my God!
Well, to interject there, brother. I would also.
One other thing that he kind of didn't mention. It's going off on a tangent, but the one clip that I saw of the boat right before the explosion, I looked down at it, and it has 4 outboard engines on the transom. A lot of times they put 200 horse. So that boat has 800 horsepower. Number one, I mean, you need an awful lot of strength on that transom to support 800 horsepower. So whoever has these boats has an awful lot of money. And why do you need 800 horsepower
to fish? Are you saying these are not fishermen?
I did hear that they were fishermen, and you got an 800.
They were carrying potatoes. We got a close up. They had giant potatoes.
He says the potato farmers.
I didn't see that.
Well, so they are this is literally an invasion, bringing fentanyl and cocaine from a foreign nation into America. Now, constitutionally, does he have the right to do it? Because today is Sunday. All you see are the idiot Democrats saying, "Oh, only Congress can declare war." Again, the framing fathers said this in all their paperwork. Yes, the formal power of declaring war is in Congress's purview. But if they didn't want the president to do what he just did, they would have put in certain things to prevent that. The other half of that is that the executive, the president, is in charge of the military. Why? So he can defend America, so he can take care of emergencies, and so he can stop invasions, and he doesn't have to wait for 535 dipshits to get their heads out of their asses to actually do something.
535 days, probably, before they make a decision.
Before they get it right. So they put him in charge. So Trump is 100% constitutionally protected and in his right to do this. And of course, there's the precedent. It's like 1983, you idiot Obama. We want our foreign policy back. What happened in 1983? Grenada. But this is even better
Grenada,
because that's 1983 and 1990. What happened in 1990? Noriega. And Noriega, they pinched him for the
Let's
same
not
thing.
forget Haiti, John. Don't forget
Right,
Haiti.
right. They pinched Noriega for the exact same thing. He went and spent some time in the U.S. jails. He went to spend time in French jails. He went to spend time the rest of his life in Panamanian jails for this. And so this is actually, it's not like this is anything new. It's just that Big Daddy's back and Big Daddy's laying down the boom.
Well,
and it's now changed the entire dynamic.
I think you're hitting on something that I want to really nail down is the power dynamics within the Western Hemisphere. We've seen it. We go all the way back to the Monroe Doctrine, and now we have the Donroe Doctrine with Trump. It's very simple. This is our hemisphere. You keep your hands out of it. China is the enemy of our future and our current world. They want to destroy us. They need to destroy us in order to dominate the world and have the hegemony of the world. The only way they're going to be able to do that is by having the feckless Democrats in charge, which is also leading into my other point, which is we had 4 years of sharp as a tack, non-compos mentis Biden, who was running around allowing and making it very easy for us to look like fools and to show that we don't have the deterrent factor anymore. The 4 years of Trump and putting in a deterrent factor that Obama gave up was given up again under Biden, and now we have reestablished deterrence with two major actions: the Iranian attack and wiping out the nuke there, and now this going in. This is our backyard. This isn't on the other side of the world, and that's one of the things I hear a lot of Sunshine MAGA talking about. Is like, oh, we got to worry about our backyard, our bases, and protect our America first. This is America first. Tell it to all the kids that are dying because of the drugs that are coming in. Cocaine, which is what the major thing that they make out of Venezuela, that's still bad, folks. They're like, oh, it's not fentanyl, it's not fentanyl, but like it's like cocaine's okay. Somehow cocaine's okay, but fentanyl is bad. Neither one of them is good. And Trump has recognized that, and he wants to end it. And what is he doing? He's ending it that way. He's reestablishing American deterrence. In other words, telling China, get the hell out of our backyard. We kicked you out of Panama. Now we're kicking you out of Venezuela. And we're going to kick you out of Honduras. And we're going to kick you out of Mexico. And we're going to kick you out of everywhere else. So pack up your bags and go back to your little hole in the wall where you belong, and go back over there and play with your pandas, and go back over there and play with your bungee sticks or whatever else you got, because we don't want any of your nonsense. Keep your silly electronics, keep your silly garbage, steel. We don't want it anymore.
Well, let's ask MAGA a question. Did you vote for this?
More clear. I voted for get rid of the drugs because I myself know 25 people, who have a family member dead from an overdose. There's two people in my own family dead from an overdose. So I see firsthand, but that goes from New Jersey to San Francisco. Everybody seems to know someone who's dead from an overdose. So this is
I got a couple students.
Somebody across town.
And this is the economic, the economic component of tariffs of Trump, and the stopping of the debt, the killing of the American middle class is exactly MAGA. It's exactly Trump. And this is what we put him in there for.
But also, John, there's this too, because what people seem to forget is when Chavez went in there and he socialized everything, the warmth of collectivism, which is one of the other things we got to talk about, the warmth of collectivism that socialism brings. He also socialized the oil industry, which were companies that had oil businesses there and were taken away. When the oil flows, because that's one of the other key components that they're attacking Trump on, is that it's just money. It's just oil. We just want the oil. No, folks, it's a major producer of oil. It's if that oil comes out not to America, because we're going to be energy self-sufficient, just like we were under Trump in his first term. We're going to be energy self-sufficient. We're not going to need their oil. The rest of the world's going to need their oil. And when the rest of the world has oil, that means the energy prices are going to go down. When the energy prices go down around the world, they go down here in America as well. So you want to see again, America first. You want America first? Sometimes it requires American intervention, at least in our backyard, and making sure that we don't get the connection. Iran, Venezuela, Russia, and China. Now, Russia and China, they have nukes, so we're not gonna sneak in there and steal
I don't know.
Winnie the
I don't know.
Pooh.
The full details have not come out. But this, I mean, he was in a military base. He was behind, almost got to his all steel safe house. There you go.
I love this picture.
This is wow. We can come get you anytime, no matter where you are, and grab you, Mr. Dictator. And so all dictators have to be double thinking. They're going. So when Donald Trump calls me up, I better take that phone call.
Right, going back to the oil. I saw this on the internet. I don't know, and not everything on the internet is true, but I tended to believe this. In California, Phillips 66 got fined very recently, I'd say within the last 2 weeks. I think it was between $600 and $700 million. And they didn't seem to have a justification for this. And another big oil company that's like it has $1 billion refinery there is Averico. I can't remember the name. And they got fined $833 million. They both said, we're going to leave California just because of circumstances. So when the government steps on your throat and makes it so you can't breathe, people say, okay, I can't deal with this. So I'm not going to do that. So, I mean, Abraham Lincoln said that the role of the government is to guide and not to rule. These people have gotten off track.
There you go.
Yes.
Phillips 66 with $800 million penalty.
Right. So the oil is like, even though I think I just looked it up, and Venezuela has the world's biggest reserves, we have enough. Yep. That's not counting like the trillion they just found in Colorado, I think, where the U.S. again has the biggest. We are the world's largest oil producer because we're America, and so we outproduce both Russia and the Saudi Arabia together, and they're the next 2 and 3. But it's the refineries too.
Let me throw out there. Who cares if American oil companies go in there and they take them over and they start running them? Why is that a bad thing?
That's the good thing.
Why is that a bad thing? That's a great thing. I'd rather have American oil companies running those than Saudi Arabian company.
Well, right now it's China. Right now it's the Chinese communists doing it.
Kick them out. Kick them out. They got to go. This is our hemisphere. Sorry, we're reasserting the Monroe-Donroe doctrine, and they need to go.
Part of the thing with Iran.
I voted for this.
I voted for this. Right. So another thing with Iran is Iran had this deal for oil too with China, and they gave them a lot of their so-called high-end anti-air networks and missile systems, and they owe currently like Iran owes them hundreds of billions of dollars for that's what they're doing is they're actually paying. They owe so much they're paying an interest to Iran or Iran to China in just oil. And that's their whole goal too, was to make China Venezuela a vassal state of China, and that's all off the boards now.
Which is what they do across. They do that Belt and Road Initiative, which is really nothing more than a means to get them owing them. They're doing it to the Solomon Islands. We've talked about that in the past. They're trying to do it to India now. They've done it to a bunch of other countries in Africa, and that's why they're getting all those mines. That's why most of the heavy metal mines in Africa, I think all but one, are run by China because of this Belt and Road Initiative. So we just saved Venezuela. And by the way, you won't hear it in the news, but I was posting on Facebook about the way that people were cheering. The people were cheering. I got a video here. Actually, I do have a video queued up that I can show you. of this one guy. He's a Venezuelan. Seems pretty solid. Let me lower my volume here so you.
Venezuelan brothers and sisters, from your Persian American brother, congratulations. Take your country back and rebuild it. Now that piece of shit Marxist dictator Maduro is gone, it's your time to shine. I'm going to tell you some crazy stuff, so watch the whole video. American troops came in, broke into his castle, detained him, and took him. Talk about power. I would have gotten drunk and I would have danced with y'all if the situation was a little bit better. But Iran and Iranians are going through a revolution right now. They're in the streets of Iran fighting against an evil Islamic regime and another dictator called Khamenei against a theocracy. Now, Khamenei is a piece of shit Ayatollah. The craziest thing about this whole thing is the same Islamic regime and the same Ayatollah, the same dictator that the people of Iran are fighting against, are the same motherfuckers who've been funding Maduro and his drug trafficking cartel, and they've been funneling money through Venezuela for more than 10 years to all of these terrorist organizations in different countries, like Hashd al-Shaabi in Iraq, like Houthis in Yemen, like Hezbollah in Lebanon, and like Hamas in Gaza. And then that's probably why you don't really hear leftist media and all these like Marxist, communist, leftist people talk about this. They're probably mad right now. They'll be like, Maduro got feelings too. You shouldn't have taken him. But what about the feelings of millions of Venezuelans that have been getting hurt and they've been getting detained by this regime? What about millions of Iranians that got killed and detained and hurt by the Islamic regime in Iran? You see, all your cries for human rights and civil rights is bullshit. It's fake. All these Democrats, liberals, Marxists, communists, socialists, the only time that they're going to support a movement is when it actually aligns with their political goals, which is destabilizing the central governments in different countries, but pushing that fucking agenda so they can take over when everything goes to shit. They don't care about human rights. They don't care about freedoms. They don't care about people. They never cared about people in Gaza and Palestine. All that free Palestine, free Gaza shit was because they just hated the Jews and they hated Israel. They hated America, and they wanted to create protests to destabilize the central government in America, which is impossible because America stands united, just like it's been united for over 2 centuries. And nothing can stop this. And America has the best and biggest army in this world, and we got a strong president right now. So God bless America. God bless our troops. God bless President Trump. God bless Iran. God bless all the Iranians that are fighting against the Islamic regime in Iran. God bless Venezuela. God bless Christians in Nigeria. And God bless all the free people of the world. Have your eyes on Iran. Iran is next. The next dictator that is going to fall is Khamenei in Iran. And we are coming for you. To all of my...
There you go, brother. I mean,
that was great.
So
Freedom.
yeah, I mean, sorry for the language, but I mean, he's a Christian. He's definitely he's Persian. He's from the area. So
he does bring up the next question though. Are we gonna, Trump said we're not afraid of boots on the ground. Like, what's going to happen? Like, are we going to have to, Colin Powell said, if you break it, you have to fix it. Well, we weren't allowed to fix it. We weren't allowed to bring in Christian and our American ideals into Afghanistan and Iraq. We were specifically prevented from that from the scumbag neocons who were bigots against Christians. So we're not going to have that problem though with Venezuela. It's first of all, they're Catholic and Christian themselves.
Trump chooses his words pretty carefully. He said we're not afraid of putting boots on the ground.
That's a good point.
Okay, so it could be a fear tactic to Maduro last month. How about straightening out your act? He's giving the dude a chance to come back and say, look, you're right. I've been thieving. I'll step down. But he wouldn't do that.
Right. So the vice president's taking over now. Maybe it's the same offer, or he'll just make that phone call again.
I can't help but think that the vice president is just as crooked as he's his right-hand man.
Well, it's a girl, but she's a commie.
But I think the next step is, first of all, remember, before Maduro, before Chavez, Venezuela was a government that was a representative government. It does have the institutions that predate it. Iraq never had that. So we had to build that from scratch. So, but there's a system in place. Yeah. Afghanistan never had it. This is different. These have something. It's not an American system of 250 years, but it is something there that they can build on. And let's not forget that this guy, the vice president, not going to last. Going to be that they're not going to stay. Remember the person that got the Nobel Peace Prize, I can't remember her name, she was the opposition leader. She's going to be the next leader. And I hear the Sunshine MAGA going on about, oh, well, she's a leftist and she's this. No, she's a leftist in a world that being a leftist makes you center. Because if you're Maduro, you're all the way over there on the left. I don't give a rat's rear end what you think. They are more totalitarian, more big, heavy-duty government. That's what they are. This girl wants to go back to the system they had before Chavez.
She's a liberal.
And isn't that what we want? What's that?
Just to address that, the left calls this radical. Say a husband and a wife have relations and they get pregnant and they're going to bring a child into the world. The left calls that radical. Where a woman runs through her term and brings the baby to birth because they want to abort all of them. That's the whole problem. And they're calling that radical. So that they're really saying that Jesus was a radical and they're really anti-Jesus teaching. And that man that you had on there prior, he said something about, I don't know, theft or whatever. But I go back to Jesus' words. What does the enemy come to do? He comes to steal, cheat, and destroy. So you look at the 2020 election, they stole it. There's no doubt. Then they cheated us out of billions of dollars, and now they're trying to trillions.
You don't believe that 15 million more people voted for the auto?
Come on, Joe Biden. You believe Obama? Come on, Joe Biden didn't get 81 million votes. Come on, he didn't get.
Joe Biden didn't get 81 million votes.
I'm skeptical. Sure? I'm sorry. I'm really not sorry.
Nah,
Obama couldn't
believe, right?
Biden beat Obama by 15 million whole votes. You don't believe that?
John,
you're gonna get on YouTube again.
At least Obama can walk up a set of stairs and string a whole sentence together without some word salad. No,
we have to have that debate. Was the better president Obama or Biden?
You did not. I'm pretty sure of this. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but with the Biden election, right? All those voting boxes got filled overnight. They weren't like mail-ins. You could just go to any county and put them in. And then when they realized, oh, we've been found out, then they became the mail-ins, and those voting boxes were monitored. So it does seem like, and then all of a sudden the votes dropped 15 million votes.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Kamala didn't get that many votes. Shock.
No,
shock.
I think so. All right. So you want to move on to the Sunshine? I mean, we've kind of been talking about the Sunshine MAGA, but
we'll do it though. Lay it out though. So we keep hearing people that because it's Trump his presidency is over. He's done. Yeah. We didn't vote for any of this. It's the worst presidency ever.
Before you go any further, yeah, I got to interrupt you. I got a Christmas card that I have to share. Before you go any further, I meant to share this at the top of the show. That's what I ran off to get. I got this Christmas card from a good friend of mine. All right? I just want you to...
What does he say?
I wanted to wish everybody a very, very Merry Christmas. We say Christmas again very proudly. We're going to have a great year. It's going to be an incredible year.
Did you hear it? Could you hear it?
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's Trump. Sorry, I had to interrupt you. So go back to what you're saying.
Merry Christmas. Right. So some people, and I think this is really a meme on the left that they're trying to infiltrate, and they know they have reliable scumbag rhino Republicans that are looking with their knives out to make Trump a lame duck as much as possible, so that they can seize power, like MGT, that nitwit. Like the Losertarians, Rand Paul and Thomas Massey and stuff like that, and the other unreliable Republicans who are just Republicans and don't want because they're paid off by
I call them Dirks, Democrats and Republicans clothing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so the question, I've heard it from more than one person that that are solid Republicans going like, oh, I'm worried about. I'm worried about it. I'm worried about this term. And it's like you forgot. And it is a truism in politics that you always forget what they've done. You can, Jesus Christ can come back and save the world, and and get down from the, come out of the tomb, and it says, okay, we stopped evil. Now you're all going to have everlasting lives, and it's just a thing of politics. The next day, everybody's asking him, yeah, you did all that, but what are you going to do for me today? What are you going to do for me tomorrow? Right?
I said, if Jesus came back and had another Last Supper, right, and Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer were there, they would steal his cup because it's more valuable.
That's true. It's true.
I think though it has, for me, it's been because I'm in New Jersey and I have a lot of people running around saying you have to be more to the center left in order to win in New Jersey. This is, and they blame that Trump was supporting Jack, and that's what caused Jack to lose so badly. And I mean, there's a lot of people I see complaining about the numbers just not adding up for that election. There's state New Jersey is the state that doesn't require ID to vote. There's certainly a left-leaning tilt, but I think the problem with New Jersey isn't Donald Trump, because for people love Donald Trump for the longest time. I think the problem is the same problem that we have in every state, is they want to malign him and no one's standing up for him, and it's easier for them to to badmouth him and have a media that's 24/7 knocking him down, and it kind of gets into the message. That's one thing. And the second thing is we have Republicans that are not doing the dirty, hard work of going out and doing retail politics, which is going into the cities where most of the voters are. They don't want to go into the cities. They're afraid of going into the cities. They're afraid of going into Newark. They're afraid of going into Jersey City. They're afraid of going into Asbury Park because of the reception that they're going to get. And, Jack tried to do stuff like that, and he was, but you need an infrastructure in those areas. You can't just have, only Trump can go to Harlem and pull in all these people because he's Trump. No one else is Trump. You need an infrastructure in those areas in order to bring out the vote. And we've talked about this with Union City, for example, where they have an infrastructure that's hard to beat unless you build another infrastructure there. And if Republicans aren't going to do that, you're going to continue to lose. It's not the message. A lot of people want better schools. They want better education for their kids. They want their kids to succeed. They want safer communities. They want lower taxes. They want better services, and they don't want corruption. This is exactly what the Republican message is. It's the exact opposite of the Democrats. But
with New Jersey and Jack Ciattarelli. With Jack Ciattarelli, I can't help but think, there's kind of beyond any doubt that cheating has gone on, because Trump won the election decisively. New Jersey has such high taxes. That's one of the biggest exodus states where everybody's head south, New York, right? And what I realized is if the election is 51% to 49%, then you can open up an investigation. But they cheat in such large numbers. It was better than 65%. It was like 66% or 67% went for that Mikey Sherrill. And I'm thinking only 3 people out of 10 voted for Ciattarelli to try to lower the taxes.
Did you know that 10% of New Jersey's population are illegal aliens? 10%, 900,000.
There you go. What's the total population of Jersey?
9 million people live in New Jersey. 900,000 are illegals.
Wow. And I guess they're voting?
Well, they can all get licenses, and when you go to get your license, that's one of the things they allow you to do is register to vote. So I'm not sitting here telling you that that's where the fraud. Yeah, I'm not sitting here and telling you that that's where it's happening, because I know some of the people who work in DMV and they're solid and they're not going to do that kind of thing. But I only know about one area.
They're not going to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, but there's 20 some other, 30 some other different DMVs that you can go to that would, maybe do that. So when you have that kind of large population, and that population is dependent on having a Democrat in power so that they can continue to get their services and so that they can continue to be a sanctuary state. When all that comes in, I mean, it's hard to beat that. But the only way to beat that is to get those Democrats that are and the independents on your side. The largest party in New Jersey is the independents. And a lot of the independents are in those high populated areas like Middlesex County with New Brunswick and you need to get those independents out to vote. You can't just stay in the red areas. And you can see it. You can see it if you look at the map. Fraud. I mean, I don't doubt it. There's always fraud. In every election, there's fraud. Every election is fraud. Period. This one,
right? And the other thing I said to Jan before, I said, when you go to your polling place, I said, with that electronic machine, I said, as soon as your paper goes through that machine, it's all over, because they can have somebody in a basement across town feeding their own bogus machine all day long and just keep filling up the numbers for that. So I say you have to have where you have a box with a slot in it, and you have either an index card or whatever, and you have 6 Republicans watch that box and 6 Democrats watch the box, and you have it all videoed all day long. And that way there can be no fraud. And everybody puts their vote into the box. And if we lose, we lose. I can handle losing, but being cheated, that I can't handle.
Right. Well,
and
I
paper and pencil, like
France. And what we get is we get a lot of the Sunshine MAGA says, well, we're supposed to have voter ID law. How can we haven't passed voter ID law? How come we haven't passed got some of these Democrats locked up for what's going on in Minnesota and other fraud? How come there's no one being held accountable? The litany goes on, but they ignore the fact that we got the big beautiful bill, no tax on tips except for in blue states, no tax on overtime except for in blue states. We have the American deterrence back in play, where we're actually becoming a power again on the world stage, where countries are going to start listening to us. When they call Trump daddy, when daddy's back, that's what didn't the NATO head of NATO say that daddy called Trump daddy? When you have
inflation's back down to 2%. The tariffs are bringing in tons of money.
Yep.
The economy is a growth of 3%, 4%. I saw 4% last quarter.
No Epstein files. He said he promised us Epstein. How come we haven't gotten it? The man is one man. He's swimming upstream of a torrent of water going against the
all
stream
day, every day.
Every day. And these fake MAGA, these Sunshine MAGA, they just want to whine and complain. And I think that they feel they get like kudos from their friends. Oh, my Democrat friends are happy that I'm doing this. See,
that's what
they're liking my stuff.
That's what it is.
They're liking my stuff
because
so they build a power base.
They got nothing to say. They got nothing to say about Clinton and Epstein. Nothing. Zero. How come he's not being brought up on charges? How come they're not saying demanding him to be brought up on charges? They have him with young girls
they're blaming
now.
Trump for that, John.
The stuff that's been released. How come they're not calling for investigation of that?
They're blaming Trump for that. They're saying Trump should do that.
There was another thing. Now, Joe Rogan had brought this up. There was a man named Mark Middleton who worked for the Clintons, and he was either a secretary or intern or something to that effect. And he committed suicide, and he was the one who was like setting up appointments for Bill. So he saw all the inside trash, and supposedly they had a falling out. Now, this man committed suicide by hanging himself with an extension cord and shooting himself with a shotgun. And when the police came, there's no shotgun. They couldn't find it. The guy just didn't. He decided to hide it before he dropped dead.
So wait, so he shot himself with a shotgun, then hid the shotgun,
right,
and then got a cord.
Right. And how come he's not in jail just for that?
He ran outside and buried it. He shot himself, ran outside, buried the shotgun, and then hung himself. Makes sense. Totally.
Yeah.
But why aren't they calling for Prince Andrew has been shunned from society. How come they're not calling for good old Clinton to have the same? If they really cared about Epstein that much, how come they're not doing that? Because it's not about Epstein. It never was. It's never about that. It's just about anti-Trump. It's just another cover for Trump derangement retardation. And now there's an interesting article I saw this week, and I think American Thinker that really tracks it down to it looks at Rob Reiner, and he says you look at people like this, and there's two classes of people with this anti-Trump derangement syndrome. And the one class are just the evil people like Alec Baldwin. So he's always been evil. He's always been an ass. Always been a rude, assaulter. Always been his entire life. And so he jumps onto the anti-Trump bandwagon because it allows him to like hide underneath the bandwagon of being a creep and being an ass towards people, which is his normal self. But then there's the other class that it breaks it up to people like Rob Reiner, and he says this: you can have, and I forget the example he exactly used, but he says just like Rob Reiner, you can have, how do you have somebody who lives a good life basically, and then they're just as deranged, and he points out that people suffering from like drug abuse from like his son, it's the family that suffers the most, right? And they're traumatized by that. And in that trauma, people, for example, like I think it was who's that horrible actress that everybody says she's a great Meryl Streep. Oh, yeah, that's the other example I used. Meryl Streep, came out and said these ridiculous things about Trump. Turns out she was separating from her husband, so she used this as an excuse to unload her psychological baggage on everybody who votes for Trump rather than addressing her problem at home. And so that's what another class of this Trump derangement retardation that you see out there. And Trump has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with anything. These people should pay Trump therapy money for all the therapy that he
should sue them for that.
Them emotionally burdening themselves and that. But there are the ones like Alec Baldwin, that dirtbag that we should point out is, hey, you're just a dirtbag. Stop getting on the Trump hating train. You're just a dirtbag. You're just a murderer.
I think there's a third class. Huh? I think there's a third class. And the third class is they knowingly are lying about it. And this is the media. This is where the media
power, because this is their religion.
This is their religion. Because this is the way they pull. They're cowards. They're afraid to stand up for what's right. You got people. You got reporters like John Solomon and Cheryl Atkinson who saw what was going on. Cheryl Atkinson, she had real cases about Obama of problems within his administration. Brought it to her bosses at CBS. I think it was CBS. Maybe it was ABC, and said. I think
it was NBC.
This is maybe. I want to do this investigation, and she got nixed on it because it's Obama, and she said that's not right, and so she ended up going her own path and doing her own show, but they're marginalized. Whereas you got these big news, which it's all corporate dollars. It's all corporate dollars. How do I get advertising? I get advertising by pushing this narrative. We know that Russian collusion is fake. We don't care. We're going to push it. And, we know that Trump's not a rapist. We can't say that, but we're going to try and push it. And then until he clamps down on them. And we've talked about this before. They need to break up the public broadcasting system, either shut it down completely, or,
Open it up.
Give them, put a time limit. Your company has 2 years and then you're out. That's it. Every 2 years we change it. Has to
every
be a
year.
company.
It should be like a lottery for
yeah.
There should be like a lottery for the limited airspace. There should be like a lottery.
Yeah.
And anybody can get it.
They shouldn't have this monopoly. For that market, yeah, you would. That would be true. That would be a true open market then, because you're opening it up to everybody, and no one can get in, and everyone can get in instead of just the people who already have it.
And then competition would fix the problem.
That's right. So John, we just solved that problem. Again, getting back to Trump, these Sunshine MAGA, because of Tom Paine's, common sense, the Sunshine Patriot, right? He would talk about the Sunshine Patriot, who only going to be a patriot when they wanted to be when things were going fine, and then when things got bad, they'd abandon the system. They think everything's going bad, so they're abandoning Trump. Oh, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. We're going to lose the midterm because we lost in 3 blue states. We lost in 3 blue states: New York, New Jersey, and Virginia. They're blue states. We lost the election. That happens. That's not the end of the MAGA. We still have
they're
those
psyching
other
themselves
cases.
up to have the blue wave, and maybe I don't think we're just having waves anymore. Probably because they've screwed the census so much to favor to steal seats, which is what they've done. It's going to be a couple votes one way or a couple votes the other way until they get the census and the illegals out of the count. And so
New Jersey should lose
they're setting themselves
seat.
up
I
for
hate to say
another.
it. New Jersey should lose a seat because we should lose a seat. 1/10 of our entire population is not a legal citizen. We should lose a seat.
2
New
seats.
Jersey, I hate to say
It's
it.
2 seats, I think, for Jersey, if they're all illegals and they're being counted. Yeah. So until that's why, because it used to be like a swing of like 40 votes or so, for the Congress. So they're setting themselves to just like Biden was able to walk around, and it's Matt Gaetz' point. Just like Biden was able to go around and crow. It's like, well, we're going to really have a bloodbath, but the red wave never happened. So it shows I won. It's just we're going to see if we do lose the Congress, it's only going to be by a few votes, and you're not going to lose the Senate. I don't think they're going to lose the Senate. Because for the next 10 years, the numbers are against them because you have all these red states basically that these blue senators trying to keep their place in red states.
With Chuck Schumer and you fill in the name, anybody with a Chuck Schumer advocacy, right, is what they're doing tomorrow when they wake up Monday morning is they're thinking, how do we steal the House in November? They're not thinking about anything else. And then if they get the House, everything comes to a stymie and halt. Okay. So again, going back to that voting where you're going to put your paper through, they'll stop at nothing. They had a pandemic. They killed millions of people. Mm-hmm. They stole Joe Biden's election. They stole everything. They'll stop at nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing. We have to have this fixed before November, because the day after the vote, they're all going to be saying, oh, we're saving democracy. So it's too late at that point. This has to be fixed now.
Well,
that's a good point.
You're right.
And,
he has to get rid of the filibuster. In order to do it, he has to get rid of the filibuster.
Well, maybe it's time, because the Dems are going to do it once they get in charge of the Senate. They're going to be doing it. So might as well just do it proactively. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you're supposed to have a filibuster anyway. So
before we go into the battleship, because we only got about 8 minutes left, I wanted to, and especially because of Jim's here with us, I want to share this. I found this guy on Facebook, and it's not a topic of today's show, but I definitely, Jim, I think divine presence. God has brought you to us today so that I can play this video. So just listen to that.
Loves you. Let's talk about it. But it's not too early for you to kill a baby?
I'm not killing a baby. Who the fuck do you think you are to tell women what the fuck to do with their body? Tell me that. Do you fucking know what it is to carry a child? Do you know what it is to get raped by a motherfucker and have to fucking carry this baby full term? No, you don't. Go to hell.
So you agree abortion murders children then?
It doesn't murder children.
Then why did you just say, do I know what it takes to carry a child?
Do you know? Do you? Aren't you a fucking pedophile? Get the fuck out of my face, bitch.
Ma'am, if abortion isn't the murder...
I will burn your ass with this coffee. Fuck around and find out. Today's not today. I'm not in this fucking mood.
Ma'am, if abortion does not murder a child, why did you ask me?
I know what it is.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Get alive. Go get a job. Take care of your family.
Ma'am, why did you ask me if I know what it's like to carry a child?
You don't, do you?
No, I don't.
Well, exactly.
Because abortion murders children then.
They don't. Murder is when a woman has a child and abandons that child to die. That's what murder is.
That's what they do in here.
No, we don't.
Yes, you do. Children come out in boxes.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Are you fucking stupid?
Children come out packed in boxes.
Get a life.
Children come out packed in boxes, ma'am. Repent and turn to Christ that your sins may be blotted out. Can you imagine being that angry in the morning? God love.
I just wanted to bring that up because this guy, he was activated in 2020. He and his family, I don't know if you've seen this guy before, but he had a successful business in Chicago, Delhi. They worked with the Cubs. They worked with a bunch of Nike, a bunch of other groups. And then BLM happened and they attacked him because he stood up against BLM and it activated him. And he's got the courage. He stands outside and he does these videos, and it's a lot of courage to stand out there and stand up for what you believe in. That when I look at him and I think of all these sunshine MAGA, that they don't have the courage to stand up. This guy's out there. He's getting cops called on him. He stands outside and there's other groups out there that stand out there trying to get people to get the women to not have an abortion, and he's calling it like he sees it. I wish I had that much.
Instead of undermining Trump, he's actually doing something. It's a good point.
Yeah, because I mean,
the truth will set you free.
Well, and these fake MAGA, I got into an argument. I said, "You're sitting here whining. What have you done? How come you're not protesting outside? The Democrats. Go stand out there, fight against them." I mean, I say this to them: you want change, get out there and get more Republicans to vote. Get out there and stand in the city. And I know they're trying to do that. Some of them are. The gentleman who I was arguing with actually said, when you're right, you're right, and when you're wrong, you're wrong. I was wrong. You're right. I'm enough of a man to admit that, and God bless him for saying that. But he's one, and there's so many more that just want to do what you said. They just want to do the Democrat and Republican clothing. They want to be that. So anyway, I just wanted to drop that in there, and I felt like since Jim's here, why not, right?
Yeah, that was good. That's good. That is
one
of his issues.
I mean, and did you want to say anything, Jim? I'm sorry, I didn't let you say anything.
What I can't comprehend is I have a handful of Democratic friends, and what I just can't comprehend is how you can turn a blind eye. I say when a baby's yanked out of a mother's belly, it's getting thrown into a trash can, and if you vote for that, that's fine. If you there's something else. In 2016, when Trump was running against Hillary, there's a website, it's called holylove.org, and this woman is claiming she's getting words from the Lord. Say July, August, September, right before the election of that year. The Lord was giving plenty of messages, and this was one of them. He said, anyone who votes for a candidate who knowingly supports violence in the womb. Think of the way he words that. Is that a human being coming up with that way? He went on to say, I will hold them accountable for every abortion during that term. And I just thought, Lord, that's not good. But it does fit with scripture. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, you do that to me.
That's for the 70 million dead babies. That's somebody's going to pay a hell of a time, a hell of a sentence. I hate to see the sentence guidelines on that one.
Anyway, so that's I am right there with you. To me, it's like also the letting children, the letting boys and girls locker rooms issue as well. I mean, it's right up there. It's just it's just a common sense thing, right? What's common sense? You don't hurt babies and you don't hurt kids. If you're willing to allow that to happen, then you're crossing the line. That's the way I was taught when I went to college about being a teacher. You don't allow that to happen. It's your responsibility. But that's a different topic. Anyway, so
the old battleships.
The battleship. Let's go to the battleship, brother. Why don't you lead us into it? Let's go ahead. Okay. What do you got?
I ordered up a bunch of battleships. They're all gold. Gold's my favorite color. They could be gold battleships. All gold. They're gonna have gold people too, except for the women. No, the women are gonna be all gold because it's my favorite movie, Goldfinger. You just can't. You paint them all gold. You just can't paint the small of the back gold because that will kill them if you paint the small of the back. I saw it in the movie Goldfinger. It's my favorite movie. Bond. He's a great guy. Bond. So it's another example of what we all have to say to people again. Just say it with us. Say it with me. Say it with me. Trump is right. Trump is right. Just say it. If you say it one time or two times, it's just very freeing. It's a perfect example again of how right he is. And I've always said, we don't need politicians. The system was never for politicians. The system is this. Go grab any regular American and put him in there. And with common sense, they will do a better job than all these aristocrat so-called experts who go to Harvard and Yale and spend hundreds of millions of dollars, wasting trillions of dollars on stupid crap. Again, the goal of battleship. Why do we need battleships? Battleships. It's actually this. So, if the backbone of the Navy right now are the Arleigh Burke class destroyers, but the third iteration of them right now, they look ridiculous. They're so fat. They're over the sides of their ships just to stuff in the electronics. They're too small to carry the electronics you need for all the advanced radar and the advanced ship missiles that you need. So they're ridiculous looking, and they're supposed to be not top heavy, but they can't do anything more with the Arleigh Burkes. So they have a bunch of cruisers, the Ticonderogas, which are from 1980s, and they're just all worn out, and they're headed for the scrapyard. So you have these cruisers, and there was an advance. So all the last Navy programs have all produced nothing. You had the advanced cruiser program that got scrapped. You had the Zumwalt that produced billions of dollars for plywood destroyers, which the advanced the forward guns are too expensive to use, so they replaced them. They only built 3 of them. Scrap. You got the littoral ships, 2 different classes, the Independence class and the Freedom class. Both of them, they have these spiral. They would have like they were supposed to be super fast. They're like 40 knots, but they have screws. They're just like giant, corkscrews. The only problem is, 1/3, only like 13% of the underwater under the ocean is actually mapped, and so there are all these volcanoes down there. They're spewing up all this ash and rocks, and that rocks gets in there and it destroys all the propulsion system. So those are 2 classes, complete waste. They've actually, even though they're only 10 years old, started mothballing those ships. They're useless. Then you have they just had the frigate class. What they say, okay, we're just going to buy a Italian frigate and use that class. Scrapped. We're spending billions of dollars. For 4 years, 5 years later, they still haven't. I think they're going to build 2 of these frigates. So they need. And so the problem with the Arleigh Burkes is they're down now in the Caribbean, chasing around the USS Ford, and they have 1 oil tender, and it's running back and forth, running itself ragged. The problem with the Arleigh Burkes is they can't even go across the Atlantic Ocean on a convoy duty, not one time, because they're all gas engines, and that uses up a lot of fuel. And so you need a sprint power to keep up with the carriers at like 34 knots, but you also need regular, like staying there a long time, and that's diesel and oil. And so the idea of this battleship is just like the USS New Jersey. It used to give out oil to the cruisers and to the destroyers that were with it, protecting the fast carriers. And so again, we need a big ship. We need it can tend its oils, and you give oil and gas to the tenders like Arleigh Burkes.
They're all nuclear now. They're all nuclear.
Well, they're eventually going to go to nuclear, but you still need somebody to produce the oilers for the Arleigh Burkes. And so you also need a big ship for the electronics, because they just won't fit into the destroyers anymore. And so the other thing too is what really is, what nobody's talked about. It's a drone carrier. So it's going to be, you need just like you need all the electronics in the Arleigh Burkes just to see what's coming at you. You're going to have a lot of electronics, and which you're going to need in a bigger ship, like the battleships, just to run all these drones that are going to be out there, in your wingman configurations or around your assault group. And so once again, it's Trump proving that he's smarter than the entire U.S. Navy. smarter than all the so-called experts, smarter than all John McCain's who went to Annapolis, saying, let's just bring back battleships. And the beauty part of it is that there's 3 slips, one of them being Philadelphia, that Philadelphia Navy Yard. They're already I think they have they're up to 20 different medium-sized tankers that are going to build. And so here's the thing too. The reason why this is so important is we're not looking forward anymore. And that's the all gold one. That's what we need. We're not looking forward. They're
With
going
marble,
to
John. Marble. Don't forget the marble.
We can make a hellscape out of the Taiwan Strait in China. But guess what China can do? Because they have the manufacturing production that we don't have now, thanks to the idiot Bushes and the idiot Wall Street Journal. There's morons. They can make a hellscape out of California, out of the California Western coast. So there's one of the things they just put out is they put a picture of a medium-sized transport with a bunch of containers on top, 6 different containers with pop-up missiles. And each one of the containers has 10 of these missiles. And they have 2 more containers with the Sea Whiz up front. So for no money at all, they've converted into a maritime raider or a maritime missile ship, a medium-sized transport that can launch 60 missiles. So say you get 10 of them, because you can, they're all over the place. So you get 10 of them and you roll up to Hawaii. Nobody knows because you have all these, it just looks like what it is, which is a container ship with containers on it, and you roll up with 60 of them, and then you overwhelm Pearl Harbor with 600 missiles. You think that a Patriot battery in Pearl Harbor can shoot down 600 missiles? No. And so that can happen at any time. So it was really a threat from China about what they can do.
Oh, I think I lost you, brother. What happened to you? You there? Hello. Well, what he's trying to say is when you get right down to it, you have so many of the ships. There you go. You're back? I can hear you. There you go. Go
So
ahead,
what
say
we need,
you're saying.
it's just saying with me, good battleships. Oh, good.
Well, but more importantly, I think the battleship fits the role of being the flagship, because you need, like you were talking about, that electronics. Every piece of the Navy every ship has its role. You have the frigates, you have the destroyers. The frigates are supposed to be escorting the tenders and the other supply ships, and is acting as like the outside of the screen. Then you have the destroyers, which is another layer of the screen, and you got the carrier in the center. The carrier is not supposed to be the flagship in this sense, because the carrier has one job: to get the planes up and get them to their location and get them back. It's not the flagship. You need a ship to be the flagship, the ship that can be multi-capable, and that's why you can see. I mean, it's going to have multiple layers of lasers. It's going to have a big gun, and we're already talking about the rail gun not being the weapon of choice, and it's also going to have secondary arms as well. It's the hardware, the software, and the weapons, and that's what a battleship is. And you need something. By the way, John, the New Jersey is as tall as the Liberty Building in Philadelphia. So as long as the New Jersey is, if you turn on its side, that's how long it is. And that's what you need. You need something that big as a centerpiece. You don't need one, you don't need two, you need a dozen. And you need to have them out there, because you have these lasers. If you have lasers on them, they're the fastest reload. If you get them a couple, we have
the drone fleets. The drone fleets are going to need a command center, and the Arleigh Burkes are like you can't use a destroyer for it. You're going to need capital ships. You're going to need big ships, and that's good, because you talk about the economy and stuff. They should never stop shipbuilding in Philadelphia. It's ridiculous, right? And they're going to back. I have two kids. They're in programs right now for mentorships to be welders. Specifically at the Navy Yard. That's the middle class. Again, MAGA. Donald Trump saving the middle class, getting good jobs for Americans. So they can have the middle class can expand, against the elite class. But I think we're over our time. Are we done for the day?
I just want to leave this hanging out there is the biggest hurdle that we have. You just mentioned is the shipyards, but it's also the people working in them. And the people working in them, we just don't have the trades anymore. Our trades have switched from being our blue collar trades to being more white collar / somewhat blue collar, getting more into the medical fields, getting more into that. We need to have schools that are teaching our kids not to what a boy is and what their gender is. We need to move away from that, and we need to move further into, very simply, getting the kids to be able to have a future. And that doesn't mean talking about gender ideology or the social emotional learning. It means simply getting your education, becoming literate, and being able to do your math, and then also be able to have a job skill. And that, for
You have
most
anything
of
to say, Jim?
Right. I brought up.
Okay.
Well, I talked to a principal, and I said, if you just say have 50 people getting out of school, I said, I got to figure that 10 to 20 are going to be boys who are going to be plumbers, roofers, construction, tree work, landscaping. I said, so, I mean, if you just did nothing else but taught them how to sweat pipes, the people that are putting in the air conditioners and the plumbing, they're getting sometimes $5,000 a day. So that's big money. So, and if you have more supply of plumbers and heating and ventilation, then the price comes down. So we have to teach kids that in a big way.
It's
the problem is you have the lawyers who want to sue everything, and so I say somehow you have to have
one next to you.
a waiver signed.
Jim, the whole thing with the civil rights movement, the reason why Martin Luther King Jr. had money to go out there and run the civil rights movement and make it happen was because many of the people who support him had blue collar jobs, and they were working within the black community, making money, and that's where the churches were able to pay for Martin Luther King Jr. to go out there and do what he did. But that was we have the biggest economic growth in American history. The black community from 1940 to 1960, they doubled their employment. Went from 40%. 40% were below the poverty line, and it dropped down to 20% below the poverty line in just those 20 years. They had a 80% of the population of the black community was married, and then we have welfare. And they took out the trade schools in the cities, and they pushed everybody into college. And now here we are, 40 years, 50 years later, in the boat that is sinking. We need more ships. Anyway, final thoughts, gentlemen.
God bless America.
Right. And
it's all
so I can
good.
say too, it's all good.
Because God loves you.
You know the man.
President Trump.
That's him, yeah. Listen, he's got a serum for what's wrong with you. And if you could just talk to him, get with him, then everybody could be...
Yes, everybody could be what?
Everyone. Well, everybody could be normal again.
I see. You mean we could be as we were before?
Yeah, I guess so. The way we were.
The way we were. And that's what Trump thinks we want. Is that why he sent you?
He didn't send me.
Silence! Oh, yes. He sent you to offer us something from his world, to change us back to the creatures we were. A trick! A trick to weaken our resolve.
I was almost like you, but he saved me. He brought me back. And he wants us all to go away from here.
You have been damned. Don't you see that? Don't you?